Hello again on our Tuesday drawing class. Here we have that beautiful model here. Again, action line, neck, going back there, terminating here on her hips, and then it's like an L shape or a triangular shape, if you like this, like that, or an L shape. And the stress is on her right arm, which is holding the whole body weight. Well, let's go and draw it then. Hello again to our weekly drawing class. Let's start with the model that we just spoke about, on how to work on that beautiful pose that she's actually holding on. Here you have the action line, goes right up to there. You have the shoulder blade, hip, and then the thighs. You have the other thigh. Action line, as I said earlier on. Arm, which keeps a little bit of a tension here. Then your upper arm, lower arm. And what actually is beautiful here, it's the tension that she shows on her hands. That is beautiful. So let's work a little bit on that. Firstly, let's sort out the upper body. You have her head looking up, and chin, jaw, nose, mouth here. You have the hair, and the neck, which is parallel to the action line. Action line is actually in this case is quite simple. It's a vertical line. You have the shoulder blade here, and the neck coming down vertically, literally vertically, and then you have a line which separates or defines the upper shoulder. Then you have her breasts here. Then you have again upper shoulder and the arms. Both arms up. Again, very tensioned, very lots of tension, especially on this arm, her right, because this is where she's holding all her body weight, but not only, she's holding her pose, so she's grabbing on her on that table to keep the pose and to make it more authentic, as possible, and she's making it. Now we have the, as I said, the knee cup, probably a little bit further down, so longer thigh, and working on that arm here, which it's beautiful shadow here that turns her wrist to a very dark shadowy area. You have here, it's the shadow of that arm, the left arm. Here it's the upper muscle, the muscle of the upper arm, and the jawline, quite strong, this jaw muscle. Then you have the ear, which is literally horizontal. Very interesting pose, very powerful pose. And then you have forehead, nose again, and the neck, bit of a darker tone. Now all this area, which is her hip and her bum, are actually dark. All this area. But not only that, it's also the cast shadow of her body above the cube that she's standing on, the pedestal or cube or table. And then you have that shadowy cast shadow of the hand here. Now hands are fascinating here, and they are quite important actually. So I'll spend a little bit of time working on the hands more than anything else. We have the little finger, ring finger, middle finger shows a lot of tension again, and the index finger. And lowering a little bit the hand up here, lowering it a little bit there. You have another index finger here. You have another, oh sorry, that's the thumb, and this is the index finger. And that is ring finger, and the small finger here, and also shadow, light shadow. Now coming back with here with the brush, that will soften those darks, the brush, but the paper is a bit absorbent. So I'm trying to use a chamois here. That's better. It softens in a different, softens the darks differently. They blend with the paper. They go and become soft shadows instead of becoming like dots, like this one, dots here, dots in the shadow, those little dots. So I'm trying to avoid that. But yeah, chamois is the perfect tool for this. We have, as I said, the muscle here. Doesn't have to be as dark or dark at all. It can be a little bit of a light tonal value, this here. And a little bit of a shadow of the breast. And the cast shadow of the breast on her rib cage, and then the rib cage itself here, and the belly there, and a soft tone all around here. Chamois again, that softens the shadows, makes them in a different beautiful transparent shadows. Maybe I've gone a bit too far with that shoulder, maybe a little bit, so maybe not. No, it's good. I was thinking to make that upper distance shorter, but not actually, because otherwise It doesn't match that line here. So let's bring, I've just noticed that I've gone a bit too far with this arm. So let's bring this arm a little bit further back. Yeah, that's better. And the shadow here. Shoulder blade. With a brush. Brush used to soften the darks and also to define the muscle here. There. And a little bit of a tonal value, a little bit of suntan here on the breast. So that will be shown with this very transparent shadow. Okay, so let's start to a little bit on the working again on the fingers where they show quite a bit of stress. Darker tone, and of course the shadow in between the fingers and the cast shadow of the hand onto the platform that she's sitting on. Dark tone, soften it, soft tone. Now, and of course the knuckles. Knuckles here. Okay, that is a little bit. Now, yes, that's where I've gone wrong here. I've just noticed now. Okay, that line, it's also a vertical line, literally vertical. This is a demonstration of things that we say that I've said, that we draw what we think and not what we see. Yes, and also another mistake is that the neck is brought forward quite a bit actually, and I can have the head here, but the neck is quite literally brought forward, needs to be brought forward here. Yes, so let's move all that and let's adjust all these measurements here. Now, why I'm saying that, because on my drawing, on my figure drawing here, photography, the figure photography, is that the neck vertically just goes straight here onto the lower arm, and so the whole thing moves forward. The head moves forward. See, I'm softening it first with the brush, and later on I will use putty rubber, but first with the brush. So this is the chin, lips, nose, hair, and adjust all that measurement again and again. This is to draw an accurate drawing, or how to go about drawing and fixing your mistakes. It's a constant battle of getting things right against getting them wrong, because getting them wrong, it's easy. very easy, but getting them right, most difficult part. So also the breast moves a little bit lower, so that distance from the shoulder to the breast is further down, and also a dark tone. Now this is where I'm also going wrong, so that arm moves more there, that lower arm moves more there, and this also moves back. So I could have gone away and not do all these changes, but to make it as accurate as possible, or to draw it accurately, then these changes are essential to. This is why that started, because I thought that she's quite thin, she looks quite tall, a tall model. Now how do I know? Judging by the length of her thigh, and also quite thin, so she must be tall and thin. So then that was not reflected on my drawing, and all these changes are now to work and be a little bit more attentive, and more to draw more attention to what I'm actually seeing instead of what I'm actually thinking of the model. All these things are essential to draw an accurate drawing. Okay, now quite a lot of middle tones here, quite a lot of shadows, which I think they're good. Nothing wrong with making lots of shadows. It's how to bring them back to life by doing dark shadows, very dark, and light shadows. So the ear, which I said earlier on, is literally horizontal, and the jaw, which goes something like this, and then we have upper and lower lip, nose itself, hair, eyes, which she's got, so her eyes are closed, she's just enjoying the pose, she's feeling the movement, you can see that, and a little bit of a shadow here, dark tone. Okay, and moving the hand, which is on a vertical line from the shoulder, the hands are here. So all that beautiful drawing that I've done, well, beautiful, but anyway, all that time that I've spent to draw the hand is actually a waste of time. I'm doing it again. So draw the whole thing back again. So a vertical line from the shoulder down, 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 goes to the small finger. Vertical line from the shoulder down, 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 goes to the small finger. Then you have index finger, ring finger, and the small finger here. And this hand, which is the right hand, which is right under the ear here, that stays largely where it was. Middle finger, ring finger, and the small finger. They're quite tucked there together. And and the hip. Not forget the hip there. Okay, so that's a little bit more accurate. Actually, it's a lot more accurate, but anyway. Don't know how I didn't see those things from the beginning. Is that it's because, again, we are drawn to our perception of things and not looking at things, having an opinion about things, which quite often is wrong. So I'm generalizing now the head with those massive shadows and a little bit of hair here and a straight line which defines her skull. The ear is back here on a horizontal line there, and then a little bit of shadow, neck, and here, and all this shoulder is actually quite dark. It's got a tan, which is very nice to look at, and also to draw it. So give it a dark tone there, a dark tone to the shoulder, define that muscle here, and define the breast here, and the shadow of the breast down here. Here we are, and a vertical line. Bit of a cold. Now, let's go back to our drawing, but this time with a little bit of a more accurate. With my, it's not that it's not accurate with the charcoal, is that the willow charcoal, is that with the stump I can be more precise. First of all, define this, that muscle here. Take some dust from the charcoal itself, willow charcoal, and then spread it here. Here we are, and all that. Head. It's not actually helping me especially, so I'll try again and do a drawing of her face with this small charcoal here to be a little bit more accurate. Then you have the shadow of the nose, the upper and lower lip here, and a chin, and a little bit of a dark tone here. And the nose itself, and the neck, quite long and elegant, a little bit of the line of the breast here, and the distance, or the difference between the upper shoulder and the breast. Now, for this video not to be super long, then I will have issues with uploading it, because it will take a lot of space. What I'll do, and also you don't need this blabbing me here about how to go with those shadows and how dark to make them, how dark not to make them. I will be drawing, and I'll record it on a hyperlapse, so high speed. You're going to watch the process. There is no need to talk anymore. I think this is all about technical stuff, which is better observed than being listened to, which is basically working a little bit on the whole of the figure drawing. So I'll go on hyperlapse now.